Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here, and I just want to say, holy cow! I actually ended up in a Gran Turismo Sport livestream. I did not even anticipate this happening. I mean, I know they livestream a race every now and then, but I did not expect them to livestream this particular race, and of course, it had to be my most nerve-wracking race. But anyways, I just thought that'd be really cool to point that out there. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Alright everyone, so now we're at today's video. This is round 10 of the GR Supra GT Cup, and oh my goodness, this race was perhaps my most intense, my scariest race. I mean, there's a lot of words I could put or describe this race, but exciting is also one of them. So before we actually get to why I felt this way, let's go ahead and take a look at the qualifying round. So here you might be thinking, okay, what the heck is this guy doing? He is going super slow and he's just revving the heck out of the car, and other people are doing it. What's going on? So this is something that is known as fuel burning. What you do is you get the car to rev as much as you can without hitting the rev limiter itself, and you basically go like this for most of the lap. What you're trying to do is trying to burn as much fuel as you can to lighten up the car and make it go faster, nail some turns, and that way you can get a much better lap time than, say, trying to do a lap with a bunch of fuel in your car. It's a little controversial, it's a little boring, especially for the person who's going super slow throughout the whole lap, but this is one way of trying to get a good lap time for your qualifying session. So we're going to go ahead and speed it up, and you're going to see that there's actually a small train of cars that is trying to do this strategy. So it's going to be DCTR Burdock, me, and Cardspan. So what we're going to do is we're trying to follow each other in a single file line and try to nail these turns. That way we can get an awesome lap time. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Alright, so now we're approaching the last turn. We're going to go ahead and start speeding the car up, and by doing the fuel burning, we should have a little more than a lap's worth of fuel to complete this lap. And I sped up a little bit just so I can be right behind Burdock, since we've been achieving similar times. I'm not sure about Cardspan, so I went ahead and put myself in between him and, well, them and I. Alright, so we go ahead and get this first turn nailed, and some people are already starting to get their lap times in. Ease off the throttle, just be really gentle, putting in more throttle, start to accelerate more once we're starting to face towards a mountain. Nice and clean, taking advantage of what the track has to offer for us, and then go ahead and brake a bit before the 50-meter mark. Get the car slide just a little bit, slide a little less if we can, then go through here, ease off the throttle, use a tiny bit of braking if you need to, and then slowly ease back on the throttle again, trying to go off track. Here you can definitely take advantage of the track limit right there. Get the car slide a little bit, but not too much. Try not to understeer into the dirt. Then here we go. You're gonna go full throttle, try to get a really good exit. And this turn right here is a pretty easy turn. Just don't understeer too much. If your tires are a little worn, then ease off the throttle a little bit. Then here we go. Right after the 200-meter mark, slowly press the brakes, ease on the throttle, and once you're about to hit the apex, go ahead and hit the throttle, go full throttle, and your lap is done. Let's go ahead and see how I react to getting my qualifying time. Yes! I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can do any better. But Jesus Christ, 126.5. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Mr. Burdock. But as I'm soon about to find out, this is going to be an insane race. Yep, they're going to be out for blood, and it happens to be my blood. Alright, here we go. Now we're here almost 5 minutes later. Sorry for making this video a lot longer, but anyways, here we go. Starting in first place, pole position in the top split. That is something that I never thought I could do, but I somehow achieved it. And gosh, that is amazing. Starting ahead of 2 of my idols, I never thought that would happen, but it finally has happened. It's amazing. But I'm gonna go ahead and skip the rest of this intro right here, and let's get on to the race. So as you can imagine, me being an amateur player, this race is terrifying and at the same time exciting, because now the question is, how long can I stay in first place or even in podium? I wanted to be a bit more generous to myself and say how long I can stay in podium, but I mean, in reality, I'm really asking myself how long I can stay in first place. Here we go, checking the brake bias. I have a -1. It'll help me nail these turns a bit more, get a bit more bite with the front tires, but it's going to come at a cost of the front tires having more wear, and it's going to be faster when it comes to the tire wear. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and brake a little bit right here and slide a little, and this is me just being really nervous. Really trying to keep myself calm, and let's go ahead and go through this part right here. I know these people are right behind me, but as long as I can keep my line clean and keep them in check somehow, then I shouldn't have too much to worry about. But then again, they're not AI, they're human. They're going to notice a weakness within me, and they're going to try to exploit the heck out of it. They're going to try to pressure me and force me into an error, and that's where it all becomes a lot more chaotic, I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and go through this turn right here, trying really to keep an eye on how much fuel I'm using, because we're going to end up using the pit stop around the end of lap 5, and because we'll be using the pit stop, it's going to be very important how much fuel we all have. If I use up all my fuel, and let's say Burdock and Lester have a lot more fuel than me, then you can be very sure that they're going to pass me when they leave the pit stop. So that's something I have to consider, and actually I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because I'm not getting any slipstream benefits from anyone, because, well, there's no one ahead of me. Burdock and Lester, who are all right behind me and behind each other, they're getting all the slipstream benefits. They can go faster, they save more fuel, so this is going to be something that I might want to be a bit more careful about. And this turn, that's it right there. I already succumbed to the pressure. Burdock and Lester go ahead and pass me, and there's not much I can do but let them go, and I'm going to go ahead and try to catch up to them. Alright, so now I'm getting the slipstream benefits, so, well, that kind of worked out. But at the same time, I have to really push harder so I can be right behind Lester. But here's the problem, I'm not getting much grip. I'm starting to understeer a lot more, and I had to slow myself down before I actually ended up going off track. That is because when I went off track at the end of the last turn, or the last lap, I had all the debris, the dirt, and all that stuff. So that's sticking around with me. And so right here, I'm kind of just losing it, to be honest. And at the same time, I'm really just trying to keep my cool. I'm trying to nurse the car through these turns until I am very sure that the car has, or the tires has, all of its grip back. And at this point, I'm kind of stuck because the person behind me is about a second behind. The person ahead of me is a second ahead, so I'm not getting any slipstream benefits. And these two ahead of me, they're kind of just going to have their own little battle, and I'm just over here just trying to play catch up, and it's going to be difficult. Burdock ends up going off track. He ends up going a little wide, but at the same time, and this applies for me as well, in the last lap, at least we didn't get sent off to the Shadow Realm, as Super GT says. Because, oh boy, if you really go off track on that last turn, your race is done for. And I'm not even lying. That is something that has been in the back of my head when I was practicing for this track. And that had me worried. So I just wanted to go nice and slow through that turn to more or less just guarantee that I can survive that turn. Alright, so here Burdock is not too far ahead of me, so I'm going to go ahead and try and see if I can get any slipstream benefits out of him. I want to try to catch up to him, and if the GT Sport gods are nice enough, hopefully catch up to Lester. So for a while, this is going to be a bit of a three-way battle between Lester, Burdock, and I. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, even though I was on the back foot, this was exciting. I mean, of course this is going to have me nervous, this is scary, but at the same time it's exciting because I think this is my first true chance where I can finally try to see what I am made up of, try and see if I can really take it to people like Burdock and Lester. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go a little slower through this turn, but luckily I didn't go off track. I'm trying to keep it clean for now, and at the same time try to be a little fast. 128.2, so not bad considering that I'm adjusting the fuel strategy. Burdock goes a little wide again, and unfortunately I think I went a little too slow again, so I'm not going to be able to get much of a run on him. But at the same time, Burdock is, well, he's a second ahead of me. Cardspan is still 2 seconds behind, so I don't have to worry about him. All I have to worry about is what's ahead of me and the front left tire. One of the things that I probably should have done is adjust the brake balance to have it at 0 or even +1 if I'm feeling a bit lucky. The thing is that because I have it at -1, the front brakes are getting more of the power, so I can get a bit more bite into the turns as I mentioned earlier, but at the same time it gets more wear. The front tires get more wear, and because I didn't change it, you can see that the front left tire has a bunch of wear. It's already getting near 50% wear, so I'm starting to understeer a bit more and have to slow down a bit more to try to compensate for the wear. This lap right here, this is the pit lap, so we're going to go ahead and pit in. Lester and Burdock have 16% fuel. I have 18% of fuel, but take a look at Nick KL, who is about 2 seconds behind us. He has 33% of fuel coming into the pits, and that is going to benefit him big time. So he was behind Cardspan, and so about 2 seconds behind me, and look where he is now. He is so from 2 seconds behind me to now exiting right behind me. So now instead of it being Lester versus Burdock versus me, we now have a new challenger, Nick KL. And actually Ibrahim hasn't pitted yet. He is going for the no stop strategy, which Burdock and I actually thought was impossible, but he is shooting for the moon. So now we actually have 5 people in this battle instead of 3. I have to keep an eye out for Nick KL, who is really putting the pressure onto me, and we got Lester putting the pressure onto Burdock. And Burdock's trying to play catch up to Ibrahim, that way we can all try to pass him before we cross the finish line on lap 9. Alright, so I've been getting a bit squirrely and I'm getting really nervous because look at him, look at Nick KL. He is really putting the pressure onto me. He's getting all the slipstream benefits. He doesn't have to worry about saving fuel because he's getting all the slipstream benefits from me, as I just mentioned. And I have to be very careful about when I start to brake, because even if the person is right behind me, if I brake just a tad bit too late through that last turn and go off track, my race is over. And that's what really worries me, and hopefully Nick KL is a bit aware of that. He tries to watch his own back as well, that way none of us go off track, because I don't want any of our races to get ruined. He doesn't want any of our races to get ruined as well. Alright, so here I'm trying to still catch up to Lester, but they're really keeping up with each other. I'm still getting pretty nervous just because Nick is still right behind us. I'm really trying to see if I can go for the podium because it's just out of reach right now. But I still think it's very possible to catch up to Ibrahim and finish in third place. Alright, so here I'm just trying to do my own thing. Take this break right here. And we're going to go ahead and here we go, do pretty good in this turn right here. And I'm still just trying to keep myself aware of where Nick is. I'm going to try to be a little more defensive because I really don't want him to try to go for a position change, especially in this section right here, because if he tries to go for it, he either has to be very foolish or very brave, or he has to notice I'm just really not having it over here. But either way, if he gets a better exit than me through this part right here or the last turn, then he can definitely go for overtake around here. And the other thing I have to really keep an eye on is that front left tire, because in the first stint the front left tire was just absolutely dying on me. So for here I have to be a bit more aware of that, and I have to defend my position. So it's going to be a bit chaotic again in its own way compared to the last time I mentioned that. The other thing I should mention is that Burdock and Lester have officially caught up to Ibrahim, so now he is getting all the pressure, and if Ibrahim is holding them back, that's going to enable Nick and I to catch up to them. But the thing is that the window of time is quickly closing in because we're almost on our last lap. Here I get a little squirmy, the car starts to slide a little bit, I go off track just a tiny bit, and I'm starting to lose. The car starts to slide again, but then Nick KL over here, he tries to avoid me, accidentally goes off track, and I felt pretty bad because I forced him to go off track. I thought I accidentally ruined his race, but luckily he was able to recover, and now the pressure is really on. Alright, so I want to go ahead and brake just after the 200 meter mark. The car slides again and it's really struggling, and Ibrahim just got passed by Lester and Burdock. This race is going to be down to the wire. Can I catch up to Ibrahim? Can I at least try to get back into podium? Alright, so here, brake at the 100 meter mark, but the car is just not having it. I experienced quite a bit understeer. Nick KL, he ends up finding that window of opportunity, and now we're side to side with each other. Now we're really battling it out. We're going to go ahead and try to see if we can cooperate even just a little bit to try to catch up to Ibrahim, the no stopper. And I'm going to go ahead and let him pass. He has a slightly better exit. I'm going to try not to hit him on this sharp turn right here, and luckily all is good. I'm going to try to get some slipstream benefit out of him, try to get myself prepared for the long straights that are up ahead. Ibrahim goes a little bit off track, and I'm slowly starting to lose it. I'm going to try to really reel it in because now it's down to the last few turns. Alright, and I'm slowly losing it, unfortunately, but I'm still getting a bit of that slipstream benefit. Ibrahim is going to be holding back Nick for this last turn right here, and that could possibly open up an opportunity for me to catch up or even pass both of them. So it's all down right here. Here comes this last turn. I'm trying to be really careful because the front left tire is not having it, and I'm going to go ahead and show off my live reaction right here. Dang. Oh, wait. Fourth place. Oh man, fourth place in top split. I mean, I didn't finish first, second, or third. Started podium, but just finishing high up in the top split. That's already a huge feat for me. And yeah, even as I look at this clip, almost 12 hours from now, this finish, this fourth place finish, already means a lot to me. I mean, starting in pole means a lot to me. I think I've come a long way ever since I first started playing Gran Turismo like seriously, and that was almost last year with the 2018 Manufacturers Cup. I mean, I still have a long ways to go, right? And for this to be a great visual of how far I've gone, I mean, it's crazy. That's all I can say. 4th place, 1,800 points. And I know it's not the first place. I know it's not the highest position, but I'm still very happy with this result, no matter what. This is a great sign that I have made a ton of progress, and I can't wait to see what else is there to come for me. If I'm doing this good, and especially comparing myself from the start of the Super Cup to now, I can't wait to see how I'll be a year from now. But anyways, that's all for this video before I get all, emotional and stuff. Thank you for watching this video. Sorry this video is a lot longer than usual. But anyways, this is Mr. MCA, the world's most okay player, and I'll see you in the next video.